Psychopath1 here. Welcome back. Uh, I'm gonna be reviewing Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. Yep, I own this. I bought it for a penny, $3.99 shipping and handling, so I got it for $4. Well worth it. Um, I really don't see what the big deal is. Like, why this movie gets all the hate it does. I thought it was a fun little slasher film. Um, it it did kind of drag at points, like it did kind of go into the torture porn elements, but it wasn't as bad as like say Hostel or Saw or whatever torture films there are out there. Um, Oh, Live Feed. That's a torture film. I liked the acting in that movie, but other than that, I couldn't really find anything to get into it. It just wasn't my type of movie. And plus, I saw the R-rated cut, so that probably didn't help either. So there was no gore in it. In the R-rated cut. In the unrated cut, there's loads of gore from what I'm told. But anyways, enough about Ryan Nicholson. Which he's a great director. If you don't know anything about his movies, go check him out. Collar is his newest one, and I think he's still working on Big Fucking Monster. So yeah. But anyways, this film I thought was great. What it's about is we've got this guy by the name of I forget his name, but him him and his brother Dean are going to fight in Vietnam. It takes place in 1969. Yeah, Vietnam's going on. So you've got a story there, uh, and they're going on a road trip to reenlist. Well, uh, Dean's brother, pretty much not our main character, but pretty much the main guy. Uh, he's going to reenlist, and he wants his brother Dean to join, but Dean doesn't want anything to do with it. He just wants to be out of the war. He doesn't want anything to do with violence or anything. So some people might call that a pansy, but I just call it being a pacifist. So, anyways, he just wants to spend the rest of his life with his girl, played by Diora Baird, and she is a model actually. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Very pretty. Um, the character's name is Bailey. And we've also got Jordana Brewster. I remember her most from The Faculty. If anybody remembers The Faculty, it's a terrific movie from the 90s. Um, it's about aliens attacking a school. Pretty much a 90s version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Check it out if you're into sci-fi stuff and you haven't seen it. But anyways, she plays in that, and I can honestly say she did better in that movie than she did in this. And she's barely in that movie. But she didn't do too bad in this movie. But I'm just saying she was better in The Faculty. Arlie Ermy is back as Sheriff Hoyt. Um, and the supposed questions that were asked are answered, but they're not surprising. You already know the answers to the questions you asked already, so there's no point in asking a question you already know the answer to. So we find out the birth of Leatherface. He was born in the slaughterhouse. It starts off, this woman, she's hefty, um, and she's in the middle of working, and she requests a bathroom break. Pees on the floor, and then starts peeing blood on the floor. Faints. Finds out that she is in the middle of going into labor, and she dies while squeezing out a new life. And that new life happens to be Thomas. Uh, the boss of the slaughterhouse throws him into the dumpster, and the effects on the baby didn't look all that great. I mean, I've seen better. I've seen stuff like It's Alive, like the original It's Alive, not the Bijou Phillips one. I haven't seen that one yet. But It's Alive. If you remember at the end, when you finally get to see the baby, it looked pretty cool. At least to me. But the baby in It's Alive looked way better than the baby in this. And I know they're trying to get that he's got a skin disease and he's not all there and whatnot. But they throw him in a dumpster. Uh, uh, Luda May from the 2003 movie, she's back. The one who's always called Mama in the movie. She's back in this one. She ends up taking Thomas, nurturing him, and pretty much taking him into the family of the Hewitts. And Junior, or Sheriff Hoyt, ends up pretty much being his uncle, uh, Thomas's uncle. Thomas, he wears like this, I want to say bandana, but I know that's not the name of it. It's almost like, it's not a full-fledged face mask, it just covers the lower part of the face. I forget what they call those. But anyways, it's got like a mouth ripped into it so he can speak, but he doesn't speak. So it's kind of pointless. And so the the slaughterhouse is closing down, and what happens is Thomas decides he's going to pop his murder cherry. Brutally beats a guy with a sledgehammer, and the boss, who says he's his friend, but friends don't throw you into a dumpster when you were born. So, no friend there. So, Thomas keeps on beating him and beating him with a sledgehammer. And so, the guy is crying and saying, "Oh, I was your friend, Hewitt. Why are you doing this to me?" Well, you're an asshole. So really, why do we care about you? So he dies. But the funny thing about it is, and I didn't want to forget this, he is calling 911, and the on the receiving end, on the other end of the telephone, the woman's like, "I'm sorry, ma'am, you're gonna have to speak up." And all he's doing is screaming. So that just made me laugh. And then after he popped his murder cherry, he tries to find a signature weapon, and Thomas looks at a chainsaw. And then from there, we get a scene where a sheriff ends up going to the Hewitt house, and Arlie Ermey's there, and the police officer says, "Oh, you need to get your," politically incorrect word for mentally handicapped person, out out of here, and you need to come with me to the slaughterhouse to get your mentally handicapped nephew, and we've got to put him under arrest. So the sheriff takes the real sheriff Hoyt takes Arlie Ermy, and they end up going to pick up Thomas. Thomas is walking, I'm guessing, over to the house, back to his adoptive family. And the the stupid here's how stupid some of the people in this movie are. The sheriff, the real sheriff, ends up leaving a 12 gauge shotgun on top of his dashboard, as if it were like a hula hoop gun. Really? What police officer, even a sheriff, what sheriff would leave a shotgun on the dashboard as if it was just a little window decoration? So, because of that incompetence, he gets out of his car, holds up Thomas with his pistol. The sheriff's using his pistol, holding up Thomas, and Junior, that's Arlie Ermy's character's name, ends up Charlie Jr., I think his name is. But anyways, he comes up behind the sheriff and says, "Sheriff, I think we've got a problem here." Blows his guts out. Blows the sheriff's guts out with the shotgun. And, ooh, he's got an idea. Charlie ends up putting on the garb of the sheriff, and ooh, so surprising, he wasn't the sheriff. You know what? If you're going to go the route of Arlie Ermy being the killer sheriff, take this idea. I haven't heard anybody do this idea in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, but I think this could work. Take him and turn Arlie Ermy into the real sheriff. The town's going to hell and everything, and there was already something wrong with Arlie Ermy's head, and he goes crazy. The town's going and moving away. People are moving out of there. The recession is happening in the 1960s, and Thomas happens to be his nephew, and he just ends up going crazy, and he ends up developing a taste for flesh. And from that point on, they end up turning into cannibals, and Thomas ends up pretty much wanting to get a new face. He just is tired of his old face, so he wants to create something new. And that seems like a better way to handle things than, he's just a crazy person who faked being a sheriff. Which story sounds more interesting? The story I thought of, and many other people out there are thinking about, or the story we got in this movie. So, anyways, we've got that. And then we switch back over to our characters, who are going to Vietnam, and so they're driving in the car, and they pretty much get mugged by bikers. A biker broad ends up pretty much holding them up at gunpoint with a shotgun, and they end up driving real fast, hit a cow. The cow freaking explodes, and I'm like, what the fuck? Did Rob Zombie write this? Really, did Rob Zombie write this, or did he get the idea for this for when he made Halloween 2? Because this is just ridiculous. It's not scary, it's not exciting, it's not action-packed, it's just stupid. But it's a movie. I guess it was put in there for comedic value, so if that's what they were going for, then congratulations, but I don't think that's what they were going for. But it's laughable. So props to that scene. So they end up living. They're still being held up by the biker broad, and she takes her gun and is like, "Okay, wait right there," because she's going to pretend she wasn't holding them up, because the sheriff, Arlie Ermey's sheriff, ends up coming by, and she's like, "Oh, is there a problem here, officer?" And Arlie Ermey's like, "Nope, I don't think so," and shoots her. She goes flying, cracks her head, dies. And Chrissy, Jordana Brewster's character, like here, uh, is still alive, no injury, in the middle of a cornfield. And I'm like, really? She got thrown that far and lived? If you're going to live, you should have at least been injured in the process. So, yeah. I know it seems like I'm complaining with this movie, but in a way I kind of am, but I like the movie. Uh, I thought it was acted well, and Arlie Ermey's performance it still entertains me. Which do I like better, this or the 2003 remake? I'm gonna have to go with this one because I had more fun with this one. And so, getting back to the story, they get taken hostage by the sheriff, Arlie Ermey, and they're pretty much mincemeat. They're going to pretty much be treated like cattle. Uh, Dean and the main character, the brother, they end up getting strung up. There's part of the scene strung up by Arlie Ermey, and the guy gets plastic put over his head, and getting suffocated. And then Dean's like, "No, wait, no, wait, I'm Dean, I'm the draft dodger," and Arlie Ermey cuts a hole into the plastic so the guy can breathe, and he says, "Dean, you're a coward. So, if you want your freedom, you're going to have to do 20 push-ups. Stand between you and freedom." And so, he's doing the push-ups, and you know something's up. The Arlie Ermey's character keeps on beating him senseless, like literally beating him with a nightstick, beating him with his feet, kicking him, all while he's trying to do the push-ups, and he does 20 of them, and oh, something unexpected happens. You know what's going to happen. He ends up getting beat to shit, and Arlie Ermey's like, "My money says he's not going nowhere." I like Arlie Ermey. Like, I think that's why I liked the movie as much as I did. It's because of Arlie Ermey's performance. Like, he plays a great asshole when it comes to these kind of movies. And Dean's brother, I wish I remembered his name. I'm gonna have to call him by the actor's name. Matt Bomer. Matt Bomer plays pretty much the main guy. He gets strapped in steel onto a gurney. Not really a gurney, but a piece of wood inside Thomas's basement. Uh, Thomas decides to pop his chainsaw murder cherry too. Shoves it into Dean, and it's the scene you see in the trailer where Dean's face is looking up. Not Dean's face, but Dean's brother's face, Matt Bomer, ends up looking up at the screen, and blood starts flying out his face. Well, the chainsaw comes out, and he's died of blood loss and died of getting a chainsaw put into him, and he's done for. Gets his face cut off, and that starts the trend and lifestyle of how Leatherface ends up wearing the flesh of the faces. So his new love is born from that point on. And here's where the movie ends up getting exciting. They're all taken hostage, and Chrissy, Jordana Brewster's character, ends up trying to find help, and all he can find is one of the bikers who was mugging all of her friends and her. I'm going to say the names. Dean, played by Taylor Handley. Again, Diora Baird's character, Bailey. Matt Bomer, and Jordana Brewster. They got mugged by the bikers and whatnot, but before they got mugged, they were chased, and while they were in their Jeep, I'm sorry if I'm going all over the place, but they're driving in their Jeep, and a bunch of the bikers end up coming by, whipping them with chains and whatnot, and the biker broad's boyfriend, I forget the biker broad's boyfriend's name, not important, he's not in the movie very long anyways, so Jordana Brewster's character asks him for help. He says no, of course, and then she's like, oh, the sheriff shot her. The sheriff shot your girlfriend. And then he changes his tune and says, show me where they are. And the biker and Jordana Brewster's character end up going all the way to the House of Horrors, and there is where Thomas decides, you know what? I'm having fun killing people, and the biker ends up shooting Uncle Monty. I'm just now mentioning him because this is the famous scene where he ends up losing his legs. The biker shoots Uncle Monty in the leg, and Uncle Monty is screaming, and Arlie Ermey ends up coming into the room and saying, I told you not to be playing with guns, Uncle Monty. And Uncle Monty's like, oh, that son of a bitch biker shot my leg. And Arlie Ermey's like, no, you were just playing with guns, Uncle Monty. And then, just stay right there, I'm gonna help you. And then, the biker ends up popping the hat off of, not shooting the hat off of, Arlie Ermey's head, but just popping it off and saying, take me to the girl. And, Arlie Ermey thinks it's Diora Baird, the guy is talking about. So he takes her to Diora Baird, and, the biker's like, that's not her. And then Arlie Ermey goes like, well, oh, you're talking about that other girl. No, you don't want to see that other girl. And the biker says, take me to her now. And he goes to shoot Arlie Ermey, but no bullets. And then Thomas comes in, cracks the dude's arm just enough to distract him so Thomas can start his chainsaw. and the chainsaw doesn't start up right away and ends up falling to the ground. And Arlie Ermey ends up taking the guy, holding him down over the chainsaw, and Thomas ends up starting up the chainsaw, revs it up, cuts the guy in half. And I clapped because I thought that scene was really damn awesome. Um, Now, this movie might not seem like much from the way I'm describing it, but I had fun with it. And if you can leave your brain at the door and go into this movie, uh, if you haven't seen the 2003 remake, don't watch it before watching this one. Uh, because it's a prequel, and you already know all these motherfuckers gonna die. Quoting Dr. Wolfula. By the way, watch Dr. Wolfula's review of this. Uh, Jack Stickman, Sid is his real name. Uh, Sorry, Sid, if you didn't want me to use your real name. But I don't think Sid will mind. But anyways, he's got a bunch of Dr. Wolfula vids. He reviewed this as Dr. Wolfula, and I think he did a really damn cool job with it. He didn't like the movie as much as I did, but I personally liked this movie. I thought the gore in it was great. I thought the acting was well done by everybody, except for Jordana Brewster. She was kind of edgy. She was kind of hit and miss with me. Arlie Ermey did a great job. As always, I think he brings his A game in every thing he does. Even if I don't like the movie he's in, I still like his performance. But I liked this movie. The kills were great. A guy gets lifted up with the chainsaw and then thrown. So you got that. Um, Now it's time to talk. Going to fast forward way out. Now is the time to talk about, in my opinion, one of the worst endings to a horror film. I know it's a prequel, but they gave you false hope in this ending. You knew she was gonna die anyways, but the filmmakers tried to create some false hope. I can understand that. But the way they did it was stupid. The woman, Jordana Brewster's character, did not check the back seat of the car when she was running. She gets in the car, ends up finding some legit cops down the street. But right as she's about to call for help, Leatherface pops up, starts his chainsaw, and revs it into Jordana Brewster's back and pretty much guts her. She dies. And the car ends up running over the other two cops. And then Leatherface gets out of the car, and you end up hearing an uncredited John Larroquette saying the words, the Hewitt family has killed a total of 33 people over across the state of Texas from 1973, from 1969 to 1973. Their crimes are widely considered the worst in the annals of American history. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, you hear that in the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre from the 1970s, John Larroquette, and you hear it in god awful. I hope I never get a hold of. I hope I never get a hold of Next Generation, but that one's got a narration, but it's not by John Larroquette. It's done by some kind of. It sounds like a radio announcer from the 1950s going like, "Tonight on Dateline, Texas Chainsaw Massacre." Much props goes out to Mike OCP Communication. He made that joke. So If you guys want to see his rant on this, go to OCP Communications and just look up Texas Chainsaw Massacre the beginning rant. I think it's a 3-part video because he was on that 15-minute limit when he made those videos. But anyways, what do I give Texas Chainsaw Massacre the beginning? I'm probably going to get a bunch of hate for giving it this rating, but it's my review. I thought it was a good movie, and I'm always honest with my thoughts. I'm always honest in my videos, so I'm gonna give it my rating, which is a 8. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yes, it's got its problems, but what movie does? I haven't. Even the most amazing movies like The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, not that thing from 2011. No, 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 no. 2011's Thing can go below Dirty Harry right off a cliff. I hated that movie. Dirty Harry was a good movie though. So yeah. Uh, anyways, The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. The only problem I had with that movie, it was a little long. So I gave that movie a 10 out of 10. Even a movie that's perfect in my eyes still has its flaws. Like either it's too long, or it could be shortened up a bit, or there's not enough details there for, like, let's say, if you're trying to build character development, there's got to be a little bit more to the characters than just, oh, I'm a pretty face. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm a good actor. Oh, I'm a terrible actor, but I'm good looking. There's got to be more to it than that, and that's what this movie had. It had good actors, Taylor Handley and Matt Bomer. They did terrific jobs. Diora Bear didn't really do too much. She just was on the ground screaming most of the time. Uh, oh, there is Leatherface. That's before he ends up uh, getting his flesh mask. So, anyways, I give it an 8 out of 10. I'm in the minority on liking this film. There are some people who like this film, but there are more haters of this film, and I can understand. So don't think I'm disrespecting the people who don't like this movie, because everybody has their own opinion. I just happen to like this film. If you don't like this film, I totally understand. And if you do like this film, I understand too. Uh, it's got its problems, it does. But I just enjoyed the film. I thought it was a really fun film, and it's not a time waster for me. It's not even a guilty pleasure. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. So, anyways, this is Psychopathic1 signing off. See y'all later. Peace.